Hey, I'm Dr. Karen Becker, and I have a great guest today. I have a long-standing friend who many of you probably know, Dr. Meliса Shelton. Hi, Dr. Shelton. Thanks for joining me. Very
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we've done some interviews before, but certainly I think it's been a couple of years since I have interviewed you specifically about essential oils. So for the people, the readers or the listeners that don't know who you are, shocking, tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, I am, I've always been like a holistic and proactive veterinarian as yourself. But about a little over 10 years ago, I really got passionate and excited about essential oils. So that became kind of my main area of interest and specialty. So I kind of call it the medical use of essential oils for animals, or we're kind of starting to say veterinary aromatic medicine right now, because I think that kind of describes it a little bit better than even like the aromatherapy description. And so, yeah, it's been about over 10 years, and I basically now have dedicated my practice solely to essential oil use for animals, so all species.
And when you first were introduced to it, and you thought, oh my gosh, I have this kind of brand new modality, which opens up, for everything from pain management to, natural antimicrobial treatment, all those things. How quickly did you transition to essential oils being your primary mode of treatment? Was it a couple year period in there where you're like, oh my gosh, they do this, and then they do this, and they do this? Or how did the evolution come about for you?
Yeah, I think when we first started out, I kind of used them only for very difficult cases, things I didn't have really anything else to offer. We were stumped. Traditional medicine didn't offer anything else. And so I said, we should probably try out these essential oils before, we give up completely. So at first it kind of started that way. But then as we noticed that, wow, these are really amazing. They're really doing a lot of things. And it became more than just a way to try to save a patient that we didn't have any other options for. It kind of became very routine. So I would say it probably took the first year was probably really proving to myself that I was drawing blood on every patient, documenting safety concerns, making sure it was okay, but really did start on patients who didn't have anything else to help them. And so we really didn't have anything to lose. They were really at the point of euthanasia, and why not try something else?
And then how did you transition once you realized, oh my gosh, this form of medicine really resonates with me. I think, I just want to I want to really focus on perfecting this one modality, which is what you've done. How did you go from using all essential oils to then you've created your own company specifically blending essential oils for animals? How did that transition come about? Probably there just weren't any out there that you could find, maybe. I don't know. Tell the story of how that happened.
Yeah, so it was very difficult. Like, one thing that we always hear a lot is, I'm sure that, you can't use oils on cats or something. And really, it is all about the dose. So a good chemist in the industry, Joy Bowles, said, it's like that song, it's all about the base, it's all about the dose. So I always say, it's all about the dose, it's all about the dose, no trouble. And it really is. So what I was finding is it's quality and dosage of where essential oils become safe or appropriate for animals. And so it was really hard for me to recommend to people, oh, these are so great. They're so amazing. You should use them. But, what if you went to the grocery store and just bought a really poor variety? Then that can be dangerous. Or if you didn't know how to use them. So along that evolutionary trail, at first I was thinking, oh, okay, well, I'll just recommend a few good brands that I know of or something, but that kind of backfired too. As they grow, they're obviously not sourcing with animals in mind, so it's a very different category for me to pick an essential oil for medical use for an animal than just to smell nice in your bathroom. And so as things progressed, I figured, to keep animals safer, I really felt better screening the oil personally to make sure that it was appropriate for animal use. But then creating a product line kind of came out of that need to, one, be able to screen the oils first for use. So if I was, I started teaching other veterinarians and people how to use essential oils for animals, but I always felt this reservation of, but what are they going to pick to use? And that was really scary, because even if I taught them, a proper way to use an oil, but they picked a perfume grade lavender, which is really out there, they could hurt an animal. So even proper directions with the incorrect selection could have problems. So my line of products came about with wanting to provide pre-screened oils, but then also directions. So now we have a product where we say, use it in this way, or it's already related to what I found worked really well in our veterinary hospital. So now I don't have to really worry as much. And we're just going to be starting our 6th year of our products out there in the general public. And having products in the general public is a way different thing than seeing a patient one-on-one in the practice and being able to follow them along. I don't always know what people are doing. So I really have to make sure my safety game is really on. And in all these 6 years, we really haven't had a single report of an issue beyond just like, my cat didn't like the smell of it, or, cats, they have that prerogative. So we really haven't had any safety concerns in 6 years. And that to me speaks volumes of what we can do with them.
Absolutely. And I hear your canary singing in the background, which I love, but that brings up another species that, of course, historically, and I would agree with this, that if you're unsure about the quality of your oils, you could kill a bird dead if they were poor quality oils. So I love the fact that right in your laboratory, in your blending lab, you have the most delicate of the species, literally. And you use
even dark
birds as well, right? Would you trust the oils around birds? Obviously.
Oh, definitely. So we have one of my very good friends has a huge aviary, lots of rescue birds and different things. So like over 50 very large, expensive parrots. And we started out really with her aviary the most with birds that had like papillomavirus that were basically facing euthanasia for their problems. And so we actually use essential oils directly on parrots, finches, canaries, diffusing around them, but literally spraying it on them in a solution, just like they would be having a mist bath. And so you really got to know your stuff then. But we've had just insanely great results. It's such a great method, but bird people, and you're an avian vet too, so bird people won't even burn a candle. They are, hypercritical of what's going on. And so for me, being an avian vet as well, and having birds in my life, my entire life, there's certainly nothing we would ever do to harm them, but they are the most delicate species. When people get freaked out about cats, I'm like, really, if I'm doing this with birds, we're probably okay. But yeah, we diffuse around these canaries all the time. They get little mist baths. We can do a lot of things, and it's really, my life is surrounded with animals. And so we even had dart frogs, and of course amphibians absorb everything through their skin directly. So it's a great testimony to the safety of essential oils to be able to see firsthand how everybody's responding to them.
And would you say, Melissa, that right now you produce a beautiful line that, of course, there's some things for physical ailments. So let's just talk a little bit about the types of conditions that essential oils could be potentially therapeutic for. So if there's some physical conditions, but I think people really underestimate the emotional or mental benefits, like parrots that feather pick or that are mutilators that chew themselves. Talk a little bit about the different types of medical and emotional or mental issues that essential oils may be beneficial for.
If we take like a feather picker issue like that, it is amazing truly how much emotional and physical, of course we know when we don't feel well, emotionally we're all stressful on the humans when our animals are not well as well. And emotional stress also suppresses the immune system. So to me, essential oils have always just been this beautiful, beautiful way of addressing the physical and the emotional. Tons and tons of research on the emotional aspects of oils, obviously, but the ability that, I can have a very, like say you have a really bad gastrointestinal inflammation and you have a lot of diarrhea and it's very stressful to you. Not only can we reduce inflammation, there's a lot of research on the anti-inflammatory benefits and antibacterial benefits of essential oils, but now it's also calming to me. So we know that our gut and our brain communicate. And so our emotions, I mean, you can get stress diarrhea just from your emotional problems. So the beauty of them has always been that they really address all parts. And I love them so much. They're the epitome of shotgun medicine, because, you know, when we have a difficult veterinary case, traditionally we say, well, let's just give them some steroids and some antibiotics and maybe a couple other drugs and cross our fingers and hope. Essential oils always provide that. And so even, it's kind of like food therapy to me. I really wouldn't want to practice veterinary medicine without the benefits of diet. And now it's the same with essential oils. To me, it's bringing nature into their life and in a way that can support their immune system, their emotional well-being, and their body in just every way. So I don't even have to know sometimes, hey, is your diarrhea have a bacterial overgrowth too? Or is it just inflammation? Or is it this or that? Or is it stress? The essential oils will cover all of those parts. Each essential oil has a little bit of each part in it, whether it's antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory. So it's the best shotgun therapy you can ever have, and no side effects.
That's the best part, and smells lovely. I mean, on top of everything, it's not gross to participate in. You know, there are some forms of therapy, like Chinese medicine, beautiful, but a little overwhelming when you put it in your mouth. A little overwhelming sometimes. Right. And so, talk to me a little bit about how you administer essential oils topically, of course. And then with certain species of misting, like you said, birds or amphibians misting, do you ever give them orally, or is that a no-no?
I do. So again, it's all about the dose and why we're using them. I think in the aromatherapy world right now, they are a little bit overused orally. We do definitely reserve it for specific cases. I find that when I'm trying to relieve arthritic pain, we have a 28-year-old pony. And so right now, she gets a lot of oral essential oils because I don't have to give her prescription anti-inflammatories or other things. And I would so much rather see her on oral essential oil any day of the week than on bute. And so right now, since it's winter and you have your snowstorm, we just had our snowstorm yesterday. It spurs my creativity in how we're going to administer things to the animals too. And because I live with so many different varieties of species, I often can figure out, you know, like people who don't live with birds don't understand how you would administer to a bird, right? When you live with them and they own you, you know, oh, you know what? My Amazon really loved blueberry muffins, and if I get a little bit of something in there, I can do almost anything with a blueberry muffin and my Amazon. But with my pony, we have an anti-inflammatory product that we use that has peppermint in it, so it can be kind of cooling. Yeah. And it's winter, and she's old cold pony, and so it spurred my mission to now create like a warming type of an anti-inflammatory blend for her specifically. So she's using it this whole winter, and then it'll probably be, just depending on the species, I think each species has its own creative way of using it. Diffusion can be almost used for any species, but it's a little harder for horses, obviously, because they're not often in a contained environment. But we've had people be incredibly creative with a Heaves horse, and they will put like a tarp or a shower curtain on a stall and then put the diffuser in there and basically box in their horse for 20 minutes a couple times a day. So almost anything can have diffusion, but we do topical, we do oral. It really, and we try to still use the lowest effective dose. The lowest we can get, the least, we use it as often as needed in the dosing range, but the lowest effective dosing.
I just have an interesting story to relate to you that you probably have also experienced. I have not experienced this yet, but I had a great horned owl with a foot injury, bumblefoot, a big open wound on the bottom of his foot. And of course he's crabby. And when owls, for those of you that don't know, when owls feel like they're threatened, they use their feet as a main defense mechanism. And he had a big old sore on the middle of his pad. So I medicated his perch. And I put a ton of I like dripped essential oils on the far end of his perch. I saturated it. And then in the middle of his perch, I just put a few drops. And then on the end of the perch, I left it natural. So he could choose. It was so cool. He went to the part of the perch that was saturated, and he just couldn't he wanted both of his feet on the wet part because I think it felt good to him.
It's amazing. And we've done that with like putting them on our own hands and letting the bird perch on the hand then. And it's just like that. They pick, to be more exposed to it. We see cats go up to the diffuser and just inhale that mist. And so it is amazing. When we offer them that opportunity, they will select what's right for them, and they don't get that opportunity in captivity. We just take that away from them. So to me, the essential oils are bringing nature back into the animals' lives and our lives too, because we sit inside and we're not getting enough vitamin D. We're not getting to smell plants. And so even having a diffuser running like that is just an amazing way to bring nature back into our health pyramid. It's wonderful.
And so, Melissa, you created a lot of different formulas, but let's just go over. Let's just cover. I'm just going to throw things out, and you say yes. This is something that you could work with. Okay, like kitties with chronic cystitis.
Totally. Yeah, oh my gosh, so good.
Okay. And is there a formula would you have something on your website? Would people be able to go and find something for that?
Yeah. So with cats, it's fairly easy. I kind of call it like a little triad. So I often I like a layering approach because cats can be kind of finicky. And so with cats, they're kind of their own person. And so I use a little bit topically. I diffuse for them for sure, but we'll also put stuff in their litter box. So we actually have a blend called Uro Boost. So for the urologic system, that would be a good one to start with. Kitty Boost is kind of just general all cat version thing. And so we can do those topically. And then we can also do, we have what we call Litter-Roma, and we add that to some baking soda that we sprinkle into some unscented litter. And then as the cats are using their litter box, they're exposed to anti-inflammatory properties. And there's a lot of research actually with some cystitis issues to decrease that inflammation. So it's really fun. And so, yeah, because I am a veterinarian and because I understand every challenge you could ever throw at me, definitely that's why our line is so huge. There's something for absolutely everything. And a lot of them will end up covering the entire animal as well. I don't just say, oh, we're only going to focus on that bladder and the cystitis. We will also support their emotional system, their immune system, and every other aspect of their health too.
And so just along that same line, dogs with endocrine problems, like a thyroid, I mean, can oils affect your endocrine system? Yeah, and they bring them into balance. So we have a product called Thyro Balance. And so I try to name them also, so it would be very obvious what they kind of can help with. But if you don't have thyroid problems, it's not a problem to support your thyroid still. It's great for it, right? It's like saying, oh, I'm going to eat really crappy because I'm healthy. No, we still want to eat healthily so that we maintain that health. So thyroid supporting essential oils balance. They don't bring it out of whack. It's not like being on a drug where we just went too far now and now you're hyperthyroid. The essential oils will always act almost like food where we're bringing you into balance constantly. So we can support normal thyroid function, but if your dog is low, your cat is high, we will still use the same blend to kind of try to help bring it into balance. And that's why that one's called Thyro Balance, because we do see highs and lows in animals where, and adreno balance, it's balancing your adrenal glands. So there's a lot of essential oils that do help balance that endocrine system or support the rest of the mechanisms in your body that are important to support that. And there again, I think it's important to mention that the great thing about both of the adrenal and the thyroid blend is that if you have a kitty or another dog in the house that doesn't have those endocrine issues, it's still great. So some people say, oh my gosh,
wonderful.
Do I need to sequester my hypothyroid dog because my other dogs don't have it? And I'm like, no, you're just preventing it in the other two.
Exactly. Yeah. We do get that question a lot because we have a blend for diffusion for neurologic issues. And so they'll say, well, my one dog has seizures, so I want to diffuse for them, but the other dogs are fine. Is it going to be a problem? I'm like, no, it's great. Like, you're just supporting brain health, and it's not like saying, oh, I can't eat blueberries because I don't have cancer. Right. You know, right. No, you're fine. Still eat some blueberries. They're really good for you.
That's awesome. So Melissa, if people wanted to learn more about your essential oils, where do we send them? Where do they go?
www.animalio, so animal, and then EO at the end, but .info. So you want info, you're going to .info.
Awesome. And if you could tell the world one thing about essential oils, if you could convey one thing about essential oils, what would you want the whole world to know?
They're awesome.
Yeah.
They really just are awesome. Every single day, I so enjoy working with them. I come to work, it makes me happy just even to fill bottles and fill bottles and fill bottles. We always say it's our happy space. And so even for the work involved in creating a product line, they're just awesome. I always think of the Lego movie, everything is awesome. And that's, yeah, essential oils are awesome.
Awesome. Well, and you are awesome too. And you sharing your wisdom so passionately, not just with other veterinarians, but really ultimately millions of pet parents around the world, helping to dispel those myths, but I think also helping to artfully go hand in hand with pet parents that are nervous or reserved about essential oils. You've done a really good job of helping to not just dispel myths, but to help people who have been maybe damaged from the plethora of misinformation online, or that have maybe had a negative experience from not being guided in the right direction. You've done a really good job of trying to help people over their fears of using essential oils.
Wonderful. That's the goal now, is to make sure everybody's safe. They can still get the benefits from it, but we got to make sure it's done correctly.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate you committing basically your entire career to making that happen. So thank you for joining me again. I look forward to talking with you in the future as you produce more products and you have more research and you're doing fun things. We'll catch up again in a few years, but I'm so excited that your animal-specific essential oil line is flourishing and helping so many different types of animals worldwide, not only recover from physical issues, but really help recover and keep them mentally and emotionally balanced too. So thanks for everything you're doing.
Thank you. And thanks for bringing the attention to the world.